Brit's got your number. How about if we look at a few things that we're discussing this week? A lot of people have a lot of interest in a lot of different things. I know that if you're spending a lot of time explaining yourself to your friends, your family, your community, even your own kids, maybe you're just around the wrong people. Now, granted, some of these people you'll have to keep connections with, because in vibrational matching, like goes to like. The higher your vibration goes, the less people want to be around you that have a completely different vibration anyway. Some of them could even be in your own home. So what would you do in this situation? Well, stop explaining yourself, because when you're around the right vibrational matches, you don't even have to say a word. Telepathy is an art that anybody can tap into, but I would set yourself up for success. If you want to start getting into telepathic communication on many different levels with, say, people that you consider your group, or some people could take it further and call them their soul overlay group, which is just a fancier diving deep into what this is. Or some people could even be talking to the Kumaras or the light beings, the heartfelt light beings. Some people are being supported and directed that way. The first thing I would suggest is fluoride is the F word. It has to be eliminated as much as possible. You're still going to get accidental fluoride, is what I call it, when you're out and about. Bottled water has the most fluoride in it. Somehow or another, we were directed that we had to buy bottled water. It was a complete necessity, or we would have a complete, collapse, like a nervous breakdown. So this big sort of plan, agenda, whatever, was created to get everybody to purchase bottled water. Tap water has actually less fluoride in it. Well, at least in my situation, because I've tested them. The best thing to do is to go to Amazon. Everybody likes to shop. Everybody likes to buy things. And there's two different pitchers. One of them is called zero water. The other one is clearly filtered. If you think you have the ability in your system that you bought for your home to clear out fluoride, I bet it's still there. You really have to go to a next measure in order to do this. I buy these and strain my own water. This decalcifies, if you will, the pineal, which is the master regulator, and it really works with the pituitary. These two sync together. Fluoride calcifies or turns it into a rock. You don't really have connection to a lot of intuition, and it would also dull you down and make you incredibly easy to control. So you wouldn't be thinking out of the box. You wouldn't have access to telepathic communication. You would rely on everyday communication and the people in the world around you. If, let's just say for an example, you don't have to believe this or not, but just use your imagination. What if everything you knew was controlled by one source? What if one person, for an example, even though that's probably not too far off, controlled every bit of media? That person could decide each way that you would be getting all your information, and even how you would react, and the things that you could react to in a group. So if some situation wanted to be created for your reaction, a group reaction, a city reaction, on and on and on, it would be very easy to do. If you have access to your intuition, you could look at things and say, this is utterly ridiculous. I'm being played to. Don't you want to know? I sure want to know. I want to know everything. But then you get accused of being a conspiracy person. And they have a reputation of being very angry, conspiracy theorists. It seems like they're grumpy at the world. They have a grumpy look on their face because it's supposed to be a person that would be angry with society. Well, what if the person really loved society and loved all humans and really had a deep wanting the world to be a better place and to be more fair and equal for everyone, all mother, children, fathers, safe in their home? What if that person researched subjects endlessly, turned them upside down, and then they used a mechanism, which is intuition without calcification of a master gland, and their pituitary was open, so they actually had intuition. That person could also use logic and a critical mind, thinking mind, to process information that were formed on educated opinion, rather than just blindly believing whatever they saw on TV or whatever they were being played to. And then that person wanted to help people, so they wouldn't look like a grumpy conspiracy theorist, would they? But see, for people that like diving a little bit deeper, they can get that reputation. Oh, they're just a grumpy conspiracy theorist. When really, they're just intuitive, looking deep, diving into subjects, wanting to not be played to by the masses. Like the masses of vaccines. It's like shooting your child with a bullet. And we have to do this or they can't even go to school. So what is this all about? If you were an intuitive person, you would instantly question, why is this so mandatory when every other aspect of my child's life is up to me? Or at least so I think it is. I have control over all aspects except these forced immunizations. Now that doesn't make any sense because there's formaldehyde, neurotoxic aluminum hydroxide, neurotoxic aluminum phosphate, neurotoxic thermos mercury compound, whatever that is, polysorbate 80, which is tween 80, ethanol glycol, which is antifreeze, I said that, and ethyl glycol phenol antifreeze, a compound which is obtained by distillation of coal tar. You're putting coal tar in your child. Monosodium L-glutamate, MSG. Everybody knows how great that is for you, right? Residual absorbed human DNA. Human DNA. That's lovely. So you can kind of have like a cannibalistic tendency for your child. Like that's how they could meet the first days of their life. Bovine cow serum, for whatever reason, chicken embryo, and egg proteins. That's what's in a vaccine. But we're not supposed to talk about that because then we become angry, conspiracy theorists. We're not supposed to look at that. We're just supposed to blindly do that to our children or they can't go to school. And then, that's why Facebook said that they're not going to let people post about this anymore because it is so necessary that your children get introduced to this right away. I mean, doesn't this stuff sound like it would break an immune system on a child? Doesn't this sound like it could make a child sick? Doesn't it sound like it would disturb their brain function? Doesn't it sound like it could cause autism? Doesn't it? Endless. It sounds to me like break an immune system, make it susceptible, damage it right out of the gate, and you don't have control over it. But we're supposed to pretend like this isn't happening because if you put any light on this, you become, that irrational, grumpy conspiracy theorist. It couldn't be because you love children and you don't want to see another one harmed. It couldn't possibly be that, right? Let's talk about men. Men, they're good. All men are good. Well, not all. A wounded man is going to think that vulnerability is a weakness. Wounded men are running around all over the place. They live up in their head, and they like to numb themselves with lots of addiction, porn, money, power. Seek to control or dominate others. They're going to want to dominate all situations, their wife and their kids, people that work for them, and so on. They repress anger and trauma, which means they don't look at it and deal with it so that it can explode in other ways. And then when it does, they justify their own anger. Now, an awakened man doesn't fear vulnerability because that's actually a good thing. And they would know that because they're living out of their heart. An awakened man has an open heart. You instantly know it. They live from their heart center. They embrace their feelings. They communicate very clearly, and they're also receptive to your communication. They seek to understand themselves and others, and they're also very cool with their masculine and feminine energies. That means they're very balanced. Maybe they like creative hobbies. Maybe they like to cook and garden. Maybe they're okay with being, all the feminine qualities and masculine, merging both of them. And they take responsibility for their actions. They're not looking to blame their mother, their sister, or every ex that they've ever been involved with. They just communicate and take responsibility. That's the kind of person that you want to be in a relationship with. The other ones, you'll constantly feel like you've got to fix. And I love Deepak Chopra from a quote that I heard him say a long time ago, that nobody can ever fix another human being. If that could have been done, it would have been done a long time ago. And since the history of mankind, who could ever really fix another person? You can raise their vibrational frequency higher. That's my specialty. I meet people wherever they are, whatever kind of bad hair or good hair day, emotional, trauma, stress, relationships, illness, anything. I meet them where they are. I do a profound energy work that I've been very blessed to be able to do because it's been, shall we say, telepathically communicated with. And I've had lots of wonderful teachers that gave me lots of platform. I can frequency reset somebody. They can leave in a higher place. In other words, everybody has a band of information, vibration, and information that they're on. Once some of this gets quote-unquote lifted, then you can be reset. You can be in a new pattern. So your relationships can be better and your relationship with yourself can be better because you really want to have a good self-esteem and an open heart. And you don't want to be living out of quote-unquote the 3 lower chakras, which are really fear, cravings, and addiction, because some people never go past that. Their whole life is on a program, which we've been programmed to buy into by thinking that we have to constantly assess what do we have and how can we keep it and how can we get more. Even if we have tons of it, somehow our program is to still want more of what we already have, which is also craving. It's 1 is never enough. We need 50. If you have 50, you need 300. If you have 300, you need 1,000. Craving food, craving drugs, craving high experiences, craving, being so out of tune and out of touch with what we have, our gratitude. Our gratitude isn't even there. We can't even see we have 15 pair of shoes. Why are we in the shoe aisle? What's that all about? We're being played that we need a different type of shoe. We need a certain wedge heel or no wedge heel because that was yesterday. Whatever it is, it keeps this constant churning for more of the experiences that you already have, which leads to the grand finale of the solar plex, or the center where we feel totally out of control. We need to win every argument. We need to be right. We need to go head-to-head with you in all situations and all the things that you do, because we don't know discernment. We can't exercise when you're reacting or behaving irrationally to just leave it be. Instead, we need to up you and also fight and flight, because not every situation in your life that's happened you had control over. Not everybody has control over every situation in their life. That's totally true. But you don't have to act like waiting in line should be something that could get you all in a, point of rage. You don't have to constantly wonder if you're better or worse than somebody, better or worse. That's also part of our stress. And what's really important about stress is it makes you feel totally out of control and you can't really access your heart. You've never seen that person that's totally out of control, angry, or in big shotism, that's really acting out of their heart center. So those three really need to be worked on. What I have found is Kundalini yoga, because Kundalini yoga really works on the upper chakras. I mean, it does a lot of other things, but that's one of the things that you could benefit the most from right away. Resetting all of that lower chakra information to go to the higher gates. If somebody's never been in their higher gates, you can't really sell them, come on, let's go for a ride in the higher gates, because they've never been there. They won't know what you're talking about. So all I say is, if you've been doing yoga in a mirror, that's great. Check yourself out in your form. Get that pose just right. Because sometimes that's what you'd want to do. Or get real hot and sweaty. Or really work out to techno music. Because workouts are good. And cardio is good. And being fit is good. And burning calories and all of that. But if you want to dive a little bit deeper, I would try the Kundalini yoga. Because for me and many others, the first yoga was a way to meet there, get there, show up, start a new journey, a little bit of mind, body, spirit integration, so you're not just running around like a head on a body. You know how that is when nothing's integrated, where you don't feel what you say and say what you feel and think how you feel and all of it, line it all up. So you go do the other yoga and then something happens. Something happens where something will keep calling you. Go look at this. Go look at this. For me, it was go look at Kundalini yoga, but it was so kooky, and there really wasn't a lot of good explanation for what we were doing. And I don't necessarily want to wear a turban. I don't necessarily want to look like I'm making my first communion. But something kept calling me to it until one day somebody came in. I did energy work on them. They said the word, and that was it. I ordered everything on Amazon that I could, and it started me integrating, if you will, showing some of the techniques in my regular classes. That reaction was very interesting. Some people said they wouldn't come back if I continued doing that, texting me, I'm not going to come back if you do that. But then the funny part about it is, once they caught it in their own psyche, in their own open mind, they became addicted to it. That's kind of funny. Other people loved it as much as I did right off the bat, even though it was a little bit kooky. It made me want to do a training. And in the training, I could really go a little bit deeper, meaning a little bit more stay time, not so in and out, and doing it in my living room on a video, but doing it in a group. And then that's when something miraculous, truly miraculous and life-changing happened. I know others that it happened that way too. I'm so not unique in that situation. I've recently met a wonderful man named Paul Carey Dabri. I think that's how you pronounce his name. His name is Polaris. Something wonderful happened to Kundalini class as well. He and I understand this unique experience, but it would have to be when you are ready. When the student's ready, the teacher always shows up, even the teacher of the higher gates. It all lines up. But I just don't know how it could line up if you're craving, worried constantly the other shoe's going to drop off, or if you're living stressed out, constantly feeling like you need to be better than someone or worse than someone, or if you're in constant butting of the heads with people, or you're reacting, or also even in the yoga world. These situations wouldn't have happened if my eyes were wide open and I was trying to maintain the most beautiful tree pose you've ever seen. Closing my eyes opened up the higher gates, because that's the only way that you can see them. You know that expression, the third eye? There really is a third eye. You have two eyes, but they merge together, and you can go into a third eye seeing. And when that happens, you'll want to run around and tell the world, I went skydiving. When you do that, you want everybody to know about your jump. But when your third eye opens, it's the same kind of feeling. You want everybody to know. again, in the energy work that I do, it works very quickly. So Kundalini yoga, but energy work, fast, fast, fast. Lots of my clients have had their third eye open during sessions. It's really wonderful too, because how I do sessions is I program a crystal to your new vibration. So you can have access to this new vibration when you're not around me. So you can link like to like with your new energy patterns and have easier time at work, home, or with yourself. It'll also increase your self-confidence in your own intuition. This is a tool and a technique that is 100% solid, 100% effective. I love doing this. I would love to do this for you. I also do numerology readings, and there's a little bit of not a little bit, that's not accurate. There's a lot of energy healing that goes on during those sessions, and you also get reset. And I can put that information in a crystal and also do your numbers. Because your numerology is never about one number. And you can't really Google it and figure all of this out and have it resonate. Because knowing your number and living your number and really understanding a chart are two different things. Before you really get to know like how this person's going to feel about you or how this relationship is going to work out, you really need to know your own operating system. But I love doing couple comparisons, and I love looking at families and kids and seeing the whole dynamic in a numerology reading. So I have two wonderful websites. quantumfrequencyhealing.us is my energy work website, and britsgotyournumber.com is for numerology. Maybe one day I'll only have one website, but I love building websites, and my numerology is a lot of change, but the quantum frequency healing is forever, because that is truly what I love to do the most. So I hope that you found some insight with this. If I was going to recap it, I would say, stop drinking fluoride. Try Kundalini yoga or energy work, or get your numbers done, or find another way for your own clarity. Don't accuse people that are putting light on subjects that are a little bit uncomfortable. You might not feel supported in the subjects. They might make you feel upset. You could even feel like your own personal serotonin levels are going down by some of these subjects or topics. But ultimately, don't you want to know the truth? Sometimes it all has to go to zero. Once something goes to zero, more light could get into it, or an opportunity for it to come back to its fullest potential. Sometimes we just need it to go there in order for true change to happen, because sometimes we just can't layer change on a bed of things that are just not in high vibration, things that live in darkness. So we need to completely clean house, if you know what I mean. So I'm glad you listened to this, and I'll keep doing these as I'm inspired. I have a brand new page on Facebook, which is Quantum Frequency Healing. Share that with everybody. And as always, I have Brit's Got Your Number Facebook page. You could always friend me on Facebook too, but my pages I'm going to work very hard to keep updating all the information and put everything over there too. So make it a great day. Shed some light. Be the light. Be the open heart in your world, and keep letting others in. Make it a great day.